joy. So today I would like to share with you how gratitude can bring joy into your life. So I'm going to take you back about 7 years ago when I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. And so much so that I wasn't eating right, I wasn't getting a good night's sleep because I would wake up in the middle of the night with my mind racing because I was so anxious and fearful. And I stumbled upon this beautiful book written by Ann Voskamp. It's called 1,000 Gifts. And I don't know if any of you have ever read it, but if you haven't, you really need to get your hands on this book because it is life-changing. So I read this book 15 times. That's how much I love this book. What Anne shares in this book is how gratitude transformed her life, intentional gratitude, because we're all thankful for our homes and our families, but to be intentionally grateful for every little thing. It opens your world. It opens the joy in your life because you see every gift that's been given to you by God. And it's beautiful. So I want to read a quote from this book that she quoted from Father Alexander Schmemann, who was an Orthodox theologian. And he writes, "Eucharist Thanksgiving is the state of the perfect man. Eucharist is a life of paradise. Thanksgiving is a life of paradise. Eucharist is the only full and real response of man to God's creation, redemption, and gift of heaven." So, there's so much wrapped up in Thanksgiving. Well, she had been reading this book, and she's not Orthodox, but she had been reading Father Alexander's book for the life of the world. And she was very inspired by that, particularly that quote. So she started looking up in her Greek lexicon the word for Thanksgiving, which is Eucharisteo. So she found this word, Eucharisteo, the Greek word Eucharisteo, which means thanksgiving. But then she looked at, there are two other words that are within that word. There's charis, which is grace, and chara, which is joy. And she kind of put those three, like the Holy Trinity, the three of them together. And Thanksgiving is grace and joy. And can we look for that grace and joy and thanksgiving in every part of our life? And she started as a dear from a friend to start a thankful journal. Actually, her friends say, "Can you think of 1,000 gifts that you've been given by God?" And she started writing them down. And what she found was this is her way of saying thank you, because when you're looking at those wonderful things that God bestows upon you, then you see how much He has given you, and the joy just bubbles up. And I started doing, from that point on, I started doing a thankful journal, an intentional journal. So every day that I would write things that I was thankful for. And, of course, every day I write that I'm thankful for my husband, I'm thankful for my family, my daughter and son-in-law, my grandchildren, I'm thankful for them. But it's also those little details in the day, like sunlight coming through the window, or a stack of books on my nightstand, which are sitting precariously upon the nightstand. Those things that bring me joy that I never recognize as gifts from God. Those little things. And like she shares I'll share a couple of her thankful things that she was thankful for when she first started on her journey. Windmills droning in day's last breeze. A faint aroma of cattle and straw, because she lives on a farm. So at this time, I would really like to share with you some of my entries so that it can inspire you to get started on a gratitude journal of your own, because it's so important, guys. There's studies out there now that say how much gratitude expands your joy. And I really, really want you guys to get this and to start using it to create the joy in your life. So I'm going to share a couple from my very first journal post. And since then, I've gone way beyond 1,000 gifts. I am up to 9,000 and 300 and some gifts that I am thankful for. And every day, of course, the first two are my husband, my family. Like those are my first two every morning, and I am thankful every morning that I have the family that I have. So from my journal back in 2012, I started this in March. And so you all know how much I like coffee. I've already pointed it out in my Instagram posts and my Facebook posts. The smell and sounds of coffee brewing. And there's nothing, just, you know, the aroma of coffee for me going through my home is just, it brings so much joy, and I'm thankful for it. The quiet mornings, a calm before the rush of noise and everything else that goes on, the rush of the day. Peeling a tangerine, the smell of the fruit, the sound of the peel pulling away from the flesh, the perfect sections being eaten on one at a time. And that's what when you start to journal, you start to see the particulars of something. So peeling an orange is not just peeling an orange. There's all your senses are involved in, and thank God for this. Thank God for this beautiful fruit that you're able to eat and that brings joy. I mean, a tangerine, the smell of a tangerine brings joy. You know, if you're into aromatherapy, that's definitely a joyful scent. And I've gone on and on and on. I've had many journals. This is my first one. But many journals full of what I'm thankful for. And they're kind of fun to go back on because, you know, it's just fun to see where I've been and what I've been thankful for. And I also thank God for the hard things, because if it wasn't for the hard things, like this situation that was causing me a lot of anxiety, has also brought me to this point. Because back then I wouldn't have been able to get on YouTube and do a video. It just was, you know, I'm an introvert, and that just would not have happened because I didn't have the courage or the confidence to do it. So, you know, even thanking God for those hard things and in every aspect of your life. You know, I have a daycare, and I thank God every day for those little people that He brings into my home, because there's no mistake. God has given me everything, and He's given me those children that are in my care, and He's given me the other work that I do, and you know, I thank Him for everything, every aspect of my life. So guys, if you want to increase your joy, and I advise you to do this first thing in the morning because it's kind of fun, or you could do it in the evening as you're closing to the evening. But start a thankful journal. You know, get a journal, get a pretty journal, and just start writing what you're thankful for, because it's so powerful, and it really helped me through my anxiety. It was the first step to getting me past my anxiety, because if I could be thankful for even that hard thing that was making me, creating a fear in me, then I could, you know, then I can be joyful. I can be joyful in it. And, you know, it's truly a gift. And I thank Aunt Boskamp, because she's definitely a gift to the world because of what she has brought to the world. And if you get a chance, I really get out there and read 1,000 Gifts. It's, like I said, it's one of my favorite books on just living a thankful life. All right, guys, until next time, I hope you have a joy-filled day. All right, bye-bye.